Going to have a look at the Halberg Rassy 400. In fact here have a fold down bathing platform underneath, but obviously you can't see it. Twin helm, twin rudder, Jeffer steering and Lumar wheels, as you can see, both port and starboard. There is a large lazarette aft. Life raft if you wish. I would rather have life raft on a cradle, but you can put whatever you want in here, you know, mooring lines, or there's enough room actually in here. I'd say you could be able to put in a dive compressor, whether you'd want it that close to proximity to seawater, I don't know. There is a handy step on both helms. Gas locker is on the port side. Enough room in there for two good size European gas bottles, and obviously there is a drain hole for security. Typical with Halberg Rassy, you have some really nice stainless steel solid rails aft, and then both port and starboard you have access, side access to pontoons or wharf walls. That's see the difference. If you have a look at the 340 there, that is in real teak decking, and this, the 400, is in flexi teak. So there's a direct comparison of the difference in colour anyway, and the difference is too with flexi teak you can order it in many different colours, and even you know, like the colour insert here, you can have it grey, black, purple, blue, you know, whatever. Nice high and wide tow rails, once again really important, and obviously you have cleats aft, midships and forward, really solid stainless steel. You have a primary winch, which is a Lumar 50 self-tailing electric, and then forward a Lumar, assume it's a 40, yeah, Lumar 40 self-tailing winch. And once again, like the 340, you have a bank of clutches here. As you can see, this one's marked up Genoa, main sheep vang, and so on, traveller. So everything from the mast runs down through the deck and then out through here. Once again, you have a really nice big area for your tail ends. Good morning everyone. Don't switch off please, we'll get back to the boat tour in a second. We were sent this portable coffee maker by a company called Out-In. We're not sponsored by them, we're not getting paid to do this. We have been testing it and we're going to keep testing it over the next couple of months. There is a link in the description below. It's an affiliate link, and we do earn a tiny commission if you do decide to buy one.
Your travel cup that comes with it here. Unscrewing this reveals where you would seat in your basket. So you've got a single, a double, as Lisa mentioned earlier. You can also have your capsule adapter as well. So that comes off. In the top, you take the lid off, is your water reservoir. And that's where the coffee comes out. Nice and simple.
That's safe.
I'm going to lift it up to the camera above too. Alright. It's definitely espresso. It's fruity.
Like I said, I'm going to leave a link for it down below. If you're really in for a portable coffee maker, give it a go. Really, really wide side decks on this boat for a 40 footer. Very, very impressive. Once again, some really good grab handles going forward. You have, as you can see on the windscreen here, moving back a bit, you have a grab handle on the windscreen, and then if you obviously had a spray hood, there are other handles on the spray hood. Safety isn't an issue. Non-slip deck, your main sheet traveller, and there are some built-in solar panels. In theory, with push-button sailing, unless there's an issue while you're underway, you shouldn't need to come forward. That's the whole idea with it. It's relaxed, comfortable sailing. Everything's under control. Everything's managed from the cockpit. Selden, Genoa tracks, inboard, outboard shrouds. While we're going past, so you can see, obviously it's not a full mast and boom system because we're indoors, but obviously you have your vang and boom, all that stuff. But as you can see here at the mast, your lines, it's a deck management system, and then under the deck. Coming forward, once again, flush hatches. This is over your forward cabin. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And then your windlass, as you can see here. So this is what it would have looked like in the 340. Your Lumar windlass here, the chain locker. They've actually got a nice board over this, so all your chain, if you can have a look, there you go, all nice and underneath. Ladders for sideboarding ladders and dolphin seat if you want it there. And there's plenty of room for fenders and so on if you wish, and there is a water wash off so you can wash your chain off and your anchor off. Built-in bowsprit, as you can see, and once again your furler is built in. So I don't know if you can see the motor, there you go, and there's your rigging support forward. So everything is managed, as we say, from the cockpit. Give you a look aft. This is a 40-foot boat that looks like a, well, what the 50s did 10 years ago, you know, not all that long ago. Up with the port helm, a Raymarine chart plotter. As I said on the other video, I'm going to leave a link to Raymarine. We got an interview with them over some technical stuff, so I'm not going to go through actually on the chart plotter here. There is space to the side that if you wanted another autopilot or repeater instrument and so on, you could. Fantastic grab handle forward. I'm not going to grab it because then they'll have to polish it again. And then this is the business end, what we talk about, the push button. So for your furlers, Genoa in, Genoa out, main in, main out. Obviously in mast furling, and then winches, secondary winch, primary winches. So once everything is loaded up, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, everything can be done from here. Sailboat side, autopilot, anchor. I go on about this quite a lot. If you want to save your marriage, okay, if you don't want a divorce, there's your chain counter. This is brilliant, okay? There's no shouting at your wife or your husband or what's going on. Pay the extra money. Once again, another large Raymarine chart plotter. As you can see up here, it's indicated for your lights. And then on the side, bow and stern thrusters and your Volvo Penta start-stop on-off buttons. And then as you can see, your rev counter, engine hours, temperature gauge, and then switches for, well, you know, turning the electrics on, pump, emergency bilge pump, etc. Just to my right here you have your throttle controls, which I think is actually really well placed, so you can be at the wheel. You've got your bow and stern thruster, and all you've got to do is move your lever. I think it's quite good actually. Shore power connection, and then emergency bilge control is just here. And then the same starboard side, your primary Lumar 50 self-tailing electric winch. There, primary, secondary, and there we go. Really nicely set up, this one. You have your cockpit table. I know the Rets, lockers, whatever you want to call them. It's a nice size locker here for lines, or on the port side you have yet another one. And here, see, why don't more people do this? It's a bugbear. I said all the time about the washboards, when you put them away, that you have to find somewhere down below, because, or in one of your lockers, and they just end up banging everywhere. There is a dedicated spot for your washboards. To the table, you have storage here. Grab handle forward. Little details, somewhere to clip on when you're coming out, and down by the helms there were clip-on points, and raised fiddles all the way around. There is an opening hatch. It's frosted up so light can still get in. Opening hatch both port and starboard. You have, we'll see these down below. You have opening hatches here, and both port and starboard in the benches for ventilation. So that's brilliant. Above your companionway, you have your Raymarine repeaters, so you can configure these how you wish. Compass, which is very important, and you'll see some really nice speakers there. USB charging, and once again, this is your glass windscreen. Four easy steps in. We'll pop down the companionway and try and give you a good look as we go down. Oh, the heater's on in this one. I'm going to close that up and give you a look. The companionway is actually frosted, so it still lets light in. This is a brand new boat. I don't know if you've ever been on a brand new boat, but they have that smell to it of wood varnishes and oils and fiberglass, and it has that smell. Okay, port side, give you a pano. There's your L-shaped galley. Then you have your L-shaped settee. We're going to go through all this in a minute. And an inline chair. Nav desk. And I'm actually going to start with the heads. So, starboard side, you have a separate head. This is actually set up with a Jabsco freshwater flush, electric flush. It's really nice. You have a frosted, I think this has been done, you don't have to have it frosted if you don't want to, but there's an opening hatch there. Below the sink, there's some very handy shelves. And then forward, you have slides taped to the outer deck. There is a mirror on this side. I'll come out of here. And then directly into this aft cabin. So you can have these as 2-cabin or 3-cabin version. This is a 3-cabin version, so you have 2 aft doubles. This has a really nice little seat there. I'm going to turn the camera around. Sorry guys. So as you can see, I'm 5'8", 5'9", so there's plenty of room while I'm in the saloon going into the cabin. And once again, to the bit where you're standing around getting your clothes and so on at the wardrobe, you can't see there, that's better. There is plenty of headroom. And then you have a really nice port light. It's so warm in here. Really nice port light window. There is an overhead locker there and access to mechanical department. There's that little opening hatch that goes into the cockpit. Another one up here, and that's that frosted one. So it's not a problem with light. I'll give you a look into this cupboard here. Hanging locker. If it looks like I'm close to the objects, it's because I have the camera on ultra wide to keep those that want it on ultra wide at 4K happy. Right, as we come over to the port cabin, I'll do the galley first. So just below you have a very nice big storage area there. I'm not going to get into the tankage and so on because obviously you have carpet all the way through here, and I'm not about to pull that up, not the beginning of the show. Very nice fridge. And once again, obviously fiddles all the way around. After this boat for the 69, I'm going to switch to the other camera because this one is annoying me already. Twin stainless steel sink, hot and cold fresh water. And then just to the left of that, you have a top loading fridge or freezer. Probably keep it as a freezer to make more sense. Below the sink, I have a slide out. This actually, I don't know if you can see that, slides out. There's the other bins on the floor, but there's another bin that goes behind there to keep it all nicely managed. Opening hatch. There is a large opening port light window here, and that is just above your 2-burner gimbal stove. I should imagine if you had more solar, then you could have an induction if you wished, and storage underneath. There is your emergency gas shut off. Very important. And as I mentioned on the 340, there you go, you have your chopping board. All Rassys have these. I just think it's great, it's just handy. Once again, solid wood. Nice fiddles, and then slidey cupboards. If I open the one at this end, you might be able to see all the way through. I don't know if you can. Very deep. And then up above, once again, you have your wooden or plastic pegs in here so you can have all your plates and cups and bowls, and they don't go all over the place. And just up in this corner, you have your fridge and freezer temperature controls, on and off, obviously. Nicely out the way. And then aft, this is a repeat of the starboard cabin. Once again, a really nice double. Goes all the way outboard, and you have a nice seat there for changing on. Really nice. I actually think there's a bit more room in there. Right, coming forward, obviously the table this side comes out. There's easily enough room for 6 to 8 people to eat around this table. And I would say there's more room. If you haven't seen it, we delivered a 42E Ketch year before last, I think it was. There's more room in this 40 than there was in that. That I can tell you. So as per normal, these lift up. So it actually gives you a full sea berth there. And there is an option, if you wish, in this area. You can either have it as storage, Well, these guys are gone for the option. As you can see, there is a flat screen TV that will pop up out of there. Very nice for those evenings with a glass of wine. And now there's an option starboard side for this long bench. So once again, this I will show you quickly. This hinges up, as you can see. It gives you a really nice sea berth if you're under a long passage. There's a reading light. So it's just the things they think of. There's a reading light there. Pop that back down. So you can either have it with this long bench, or on the one we looked at Cannes last September, and I'll leave a link to that, you can have those classic single armchairs with like your drinks cabinet and so on in the middle. Nice option to have. Myself personally, I'd actually have this long seat because I want the extra sea berth. By the nav desk there are 4 long drawers for bits and pieces, the odd tools and charts if you wish. Thermo boxes, or you can have a freezer underneath here if you wish, underneath the sink, which is a nice use of space. And then once again a dedicated navigation table, and you'll see on the 69 they have it on there, and on the 50 you can actually have a chart plotter box type thing on here with a chart plotter and repeaters and so on if you wish, if you want that option. Okay, you have your Mastervolt systems here. We are doing an interview with Mastervolt, so look out for that one. And once again, all your switches, fuel gauge and so on are here. It's pretty much self-explanatory, and your Fusion stereo. Obviously there are plugs, mains plugs, and if I can, I'm going to, again, it's the attention to detail. You can see all your fuses up here, all the wires, everything is numbered and labelled. I'll show you on the smaller wires so you can see too. Everything's numbered and labelled. You have a fuse list here, and also in your manual everything is, once again, it's all numbered, labelled, listed, so if there's an issue you can look through the menu, you can look up where the problems are and get it fixed. Fix it yourself. Obviously underneath the deck, underneath your sorry, I'm losing myself now. Underneath the saloon floor you have your water tanks, diesel tanks, and so on. Specifications will be coming across your screen, and then as we come forward into the owner's cabin, which is a really nice semi-island double berth. There's plenty of light in here. You have really nice port lights, both port and starboard, and there is that large opening hatch up here, which obviously you have fly screen and privacy. I'm just going to come forward on this berth and show you into this cupboard. There is an option, if you want, that the bed can be pulled back forward and further and you can have another cupboard, or I would keep it this way. It's just to have access to your windlass motor and so on. I think it's really clever. Having to scrabble around or kill yourself trying to find stuff. It's all about nice overhead locker, starboard and on port. Some really nice reading lights. Excuse me. To the side of the bed, little storage spots. There's a really nice little seat here, and then some shelves, another little storage area on the port side and then into the owner's heads. So electric freshwater flush, you have your sink, there's a little storage cupboard. I shall get in here in a sec. The idea you'll see is a wet heads, but it's not a wet head. So you have two screens, one here, and your main shower head up there. It's self-explanatory, but I'll explain it anyway for those in the comments that like to say, what are those plastic screens for? I've taken the mick because I've had some rude comments lately. Some of you say, well, we all do. Anyway, height in the shower, I'm 5'8", 5'9", you know, there's plenty of room, to move around, and obviously if you don't want a wet toilet, when you're having a shower, you just pop these screens out and turn the bathroom area or the heads area into a shower area.